Mercedes may have accidentally created the biggest problem in Formula One. And the scary part? It's only getting worse. Because every weekend, Kimi Antonelli looks less like a rookie and more like a future world champion. At the start of 2026, Mercedes thought they had a clear plan. Antonelli would learn, George Russell would lead the team, and the team would quietly prepare for the future. But that plan is already changing, because Antonelli isn't developing like a normal rookie. He's developing like someone who belongs at the front of Formula One already. Now, before Russell fans head straight to the comments, let's get something out of the way. George Russell has actually been incredibly unlucky this season. Reliability failures, poorly timed safety cars, lost opportunities. On another timeline, Russell could genuinely be leading this championship. And that's exactly why this story is so fascinating. Because despite all of Russell's bad luck, Antonelli is still forcing himself into the conversation. The rookie isn't supposed to be doing this yet. He's supposed to be learning the sport, learning tire management, learning how to handle the pressure. Instead, he's winning races and looking completely comfortable doing it. What's remarkable isn't that Antonelli is fast. Everyone expected that. What's remarkable is how quickly this is happening. Most people expected Antonelli to spend 2026 learning his craft. Instead, he's already changing the conversation inside Mercedes. And every weekend that continues, the pressure grows. Not publicly, not yet, but it grows. Because Formula One teams love equality when one driver is comfortably ahead. They love letting drivers race when there are no real consequences. But when both drivers start fighting for wins, podiums, and championships, everything changes. Every strategy call becomes controversial. Every pit stop gets analyzed. Every piece of bad luck suddenly feels personal. And Mercedes know this better than anyone. They've seen this story before. Not with Antonelli and Russell, with Hamilton and Rosberg. What started as healthy competition eventually became one of Formula One's most famous rivalries. The team won championships, but they also spent years managing tension. Nobody is suggesting Mercedes are anywhere near that point today. Antonelli and Russell remain professional. The team remains united. But Formula One history suggests these situations rarely become simpler. They usually become more complicated. And this is where George Russell's situation becomes uncomfortable. Not because he's underperforming, not because he's making mistakes, but because for the first time in years, he may have a teammate capable of matching him every single weekend. That's the challenge. Russell isn't an average driver. He's won races. He's delivered under pressure. And he's proven he belongs among the very best on the grid. But Antonelli isn't behaving like a rookie anymore. He's behaving like a contender. And those are two very different things. The longer this season goes on, the harder that becomes to ignore. Every podium increases expectations. Every strong weekend increases pressure. Every victory changes the conversation. And if Antonelli wins again soon, the questions surrounding Mercedes will only get louder. Does the team still have two equal drivers? Does Toto Wolff eventually have to make a choice? Or are we watching the beginning of Formula One's next great teammate rivalry? Which brings us to Toto Wolff. Because the person under the most pressure might not be Russell. It might be Toto. For years, Antonelli has been his project, his investment, his gamble, his vision for the future of Mercedes. While other teams chased established stars, a Wolff-backed teenager he believed could become a future world champion. At the time, many people thought it was a long-term project, something that would pay off in 3 years, maybe 5. Instead, Antonelli is accelerating that timeline dramatically. And that's where things get really interesting. Because if Antonelli keeps improving at this rate, Mercedes may soon face a question they didn't expect to answer this early. How do you manage two drivers who both believe they can become world champion? Most teams would love to have that problem, but Formula One has a habit of turning strengths into weaknesses when championships are involved. And that's why this story matters. Because this isn't really about Antonelli, and it isn't really about Russell. It's about what happens when potential becomes reality. Mercedes wanted a future world champion. They invested years developing Kimi Antonelli. They gave him the opportunity. They gave him the car. And now they may be discovering something every Formula One team eventually learns. Creating a superstar is easy. Managing one is much harder.